nice and warm, and wrists a little bit of a shake, get them loosened up. And ankles, so again, remember we're getting these ankles nice and mobile. If you shake your hand, you can shake the opposite ankle. It's good balance practice as well. And then other side. And then just bring the feet together. Hands resting on the thighs, just above the knees. We're going to circle the knees. So let's do 4 smooth, easy circles, counterclockwise. The feet are connected to the ground, so keep the ball of the foot connected to the ground. And then we're going to do 4 clockwise. You're extending the legs at the back, extending at the back. And then come up to standing. It's just somebody else just jumping in quickly there. We did this one a few weeks back. We're going to balance on our right leg. We're going to lift our left knee. Now again, if you're struggling with balance here, rather than grab onto anything, just kickstand this left leg. So you can use that left foot to actually help stabilize. But if you're comfortable, lift the left knee. Then you're going to drop that left hip down, lift it up and over with this right hip. So drop, lift. You're using this right hip to lift over. Drop, lift, drop, and lift. Let's do one more. Drop and lift, and then balance back on both feet. Give yourself a minute just to stabilize both sides, and then the same on the opposite side. So either just kickstand this right leg so that the weight is through this left side of the body, or if you can easily balance, just bend the knee, lift the heel off the ground, drop that right hip, lift up and over. So you should really feel this left hip working. Lift up and over. You can push into the ground with that heel of the left foot, up and over. You may find one side is a lot smoother than the other side. Drop, lift, up, drop, lift, up, and we'll do one more. Drop, lift, and up. You may need to just give your legs a little bit of a shake out there. You should feel those hips working. We'll stay with the hips. We'll do our hula hooping. So you're going to tilt your pelvis, tuck the pelvis underneath, and then drop it to the side. Then spill out the front, drop it to the other side. So we're just doing a little hip circle, but really mobilizing the pelvis. We'll go clockwise. See if you can just isolate as much as possible the pelvis rather than moving the whole body. So just the pelvis. Couple more clockwise, and then we'll go the other way around. Keep the shoulders and the arms relaxed, the arms just dangling by the side. Again, we know we need to stabilize, obviously, the spine, but we can often get too tight in our pelvis and in our lower back. So just really easy movement, easy breathing. And then again, just give the hips a little bit of shake if you need the hips shaking out a bit. We'll go a little bit wider on the feet, so we'll go more hip width apart. Take your fingers, so you cross your fingers and you pop the hand behind your head. Now this is a great one again for lengthening the spine, so you can pop your thumbs in the base of the spine there, the base of the skull there. It'd be difficult to pop them in the base of the spine. Base of the skull there. Just gently lift your head. Just gently visualize lengthening the spine. So you lengthen the head, lengthen the neck, and you also just open the elbows slightly. Again, what we don't want is to change the position of that rib cage, so we don't want the rib cage forcing forward. So you're keeping this rib cage in the body, the lower ribs in the body, but you're just lengthening the spine. And when we've got the spine nice and long, we'll just have a little look over to our right. Let the pelvis go with it. And then we'll come back to center. And we'll have a little look over to our left. Again, let the pelvis go with it. Let the hips and the pelvis go with it. Back to center. Lengthen. And rotate. So it's almost every time we rotate, we're just lengthening upwards a little bit more. You're just growing an inch taller each time you rotate. It's like unscrewing the cap off a bottle. So rather than everything coming down here, you're lengthening and rotating. And again, it might feel different one side to the other. Notice what's happening with the feet. See if you can feel where the weight shifts from one side of the foot to the other side, from one foot to the other side. So all of this slow, fluid, efficient movement that I bang on about every week gives you time to body sense, to bring awareness to what is going on in the body, and take a rest there. Bring the arms down by the side. We'll go a little bit wider. And now we're going to add a little bit of momentum. So it's the same thing, but you're just going to add some momentum. But also, it's same but different, because I want you just to keep the focus forwards as well. So keep the visual forwards. The head can move a little bit, but just keep that visual forwards. But the idea is to think of a strong rotational axis through the spine, through the center of the torso. So I'm not just flopping about, it's not just flopping side to side. There's a real strength through my spine. I'm tall, strong through the spine, and then soft and relaxed through the hips, through the ankles. Again, notice what's going on in the feet, notice what's going on in the knees. It's a great warm-up, it's a great mobilization. It's also good to notice what happens when we rotate around this axis, which is what we're doing all the time as we're moving forwards. Obviously not in such a big movement, otherwise we're going to look really stupid running and walking along like this. But this is just really exaggerating that pattern, that movement pattern. So any drill, any practice is as an exaggeration of a movement pattern. And then just let the momentum ease and just bring yourself back to balance. Feet about hip width apart. Just check in now with where you are balanced in a standing posture. So 3 finger widths down from the belly button. Tai Chi is your lower Dan Qian. So just get that in the right place so it's balanced over the contact with your ground. Heart center if you practice yoga, middle Dan Qian if you practice Tai Chi, is that center of gravity of the rib cage. Important for where our diaphragm and our pelvic floor are connected. If the rib cage is not in an optimal position, the diaphragm isn't going to work as effectively, and you're not going to breathe as effectively, you're not going to stabilize the spine as effectively. All you have to think about is that center of gravity of the rib cage balanced over your center of gravity of your pelvis. And then we come up to the head, a little nod, upper Dan Qian balanced on top of those 3 center points. Really take a moment to notice the strength through that strong standing position, but also softness. So can you just allow the ribs to expand as you breathe into the lower ribs? Can you maintain relaxation or softness in the shoulders? Can you keep the knees soft rather than having to lock the knees out? Can the ankles be soft? Just take a minute. And it's not static. We're not just holding a fixed position. There's movement. Even though you're still, there's still movement in stillness. So still feel that really subtle movement of keeping your body balanced. You might notice tension in the fingers. Give the fingers a little bit of a wiggle. You might notice tension in the thumbs. Give the thumbs a little bit of a wiggle. It really is tuning in with what actually the body needs to do, where you need tension in a good way and where you need less tension. And this standing position is a great place to discover that. It's the starting point for any movement. Good. Give your hands a bit of a shake out again. And give your legs a little bit of a shake out again. So we're going to start with a squat. So all a squat is, it's nothing fancy. The squat is a basic functional movement. We are designed to squat to actually sit down. So you're just sitting back down behind you. So what I'd like you to do is just take your feet about shoulder width apart again. Slightly turned out so you've got a little bit of space between your thighs. And imagine you've got a chair behind you. You are literally bending the knees and just sitting back into that chair. Do whatever you feel comfortable with the hands. So you're just about to sit down. And then come back up. And then slowly down. And come back up. Use the heels, so feel the legs working. Use the hips and use the heels. You're just lowering your bum. You're sitting back behind you. And then you're coming back up. And then you're sitting down. And coming back up. And just take a rest there. So what I want to just highlight is, it's almost like a fold. So if I'm sitting down behind me, I'm not leaning forward first. So there will be a tilt forward, but that tilt forwards is only to counterbalance the fact that you're sitting back. So I really want you to focus on, all you're doing is lowering this center of gravity. So although we're tilting forwards, I still want you to get that idea of your spine being long. Now if you only get to here, that's fine. But it's sitting back rather than bending over. So let's have another go at that. So we'll just do 4 of those. So feet shoulder width apart, slightly turned out, knees just gliding over the ankles, over the toes. And all you're doing is sitting down. So I'm just going to sit down behind me. Good. And then back up. And down. And I want you to, actually we'll do this in the next move, but I want you to visualize those smooth movements we do when we're doing the Qigong movements. So it's just smooth and controlled, because actually the slower you do it, the more challenging it is. Push through the heels as you come back up. Lower down. And then come back up. So you should feel the legs working nice and strong. Let the breath settle when you come to the top. And then we're just going to give our legs a little bit of a shake out. And this time we'll use that Qigong style movement just to help with the upper body as well, and help with the balance and the position of the arms. So as we squat down, it's almost as if you're reaching, picking something up off the floor. And then as we stand up, arms to the center, and then we'll increase, do a nice big open up of the chest. As the arms start to come down, we'll go into that squat. So you're picking something up off the floor. Bring your hands to middle down chin, heart center, then you open up, palms to the sky, spread the fingers. Nice and deep. See how deep we can go. And we're going to make sure the breath is easy as well. Smooth, fluid movement. One more. See if we can get those hips working nice and deep. And then open up the chest. Slowly bring the arms by the side. And again, you can just bring your feet back in and give the legs a little bit of a shake. Grab some water if you need some water. Also get your weight if we have a weight, so it can be anything. It can be a weight, it can just be a stick, it can be a water bottle. Something that you are comfortable in lifting that isn't going to make you out of breath. Because the idea of this is that we keep our breathing easy, easy, easy. It's all about endurance. It's not about strength. It's not about power. We start with endurance. So let's pop our weight in our right hand. And then we're going to go into a little bit of a squat. So again, I'm not leaning forwards with that weight. I'm actually lowering my center of gravity. So I'm sitting into that squat. And then if I've got my weight in my right hand in the center there, I'm just going to bring the elbow up behind me. So it's like pulling. Imagine you've got a cord or something that you're pulling from the ground and lifting. So keep tall. I'm not leaning forwards. I'm not bending and reaching towards the ground. I'm sitting into it. I'm using my hips. A nice smooth movement. Let's do about 8 of those. And then rest there. And swap sides. Just a few things to watch out for. So watch that when you are pulling, you are using your big muscles in your back. So I don't want you hiking and tightening all of these neck muscles up or pushing the head forward. So really focus on using predominantly these big muscles in the back of the body. You'll feel your shoulder blades gliding over the rib cage or sliding over the rib cage. The other thing is the movement coming down is just as important. So don't just let it go. Don't just let the weight pull you down. So count for maybe 3 up, 3 down. So let's do 8 of these with our left hand. See if you can get a bit of a deeper squat, a nice neutral spine. And then when you're ready, pull. Feel the feet in contact with the ground. Nice, smooth, easy movement. Smooth, easy breathing. And rest when you've done about 8. So this should be a lightweight where you can keep the breathing easy, rhythmical. If you had a heavy weight, then it would be a different style of breathing. It would be a different style of training. If you were doing like a really heavy pull, you would brace, you would hold the breath, you would stabilize the core to pull, but you would only be able to do 1 or 2 pulls. But the idea of this is that it's an easy weight and you could do at least 15 of these without the breath changing that much. So let's go again on the right hand side. So let's go for 8 again, but if you're practicing this on your own, pick a weight where you can get to about 15 where there is hardly any increase in the breath rate, or you unintentionally hold the breath, or the breath volume starts to get really bigger, or the breath rate starts to get bigger. So the first thing is get into that nice strong squat position. And then when you're ready, we'll do it all together, we'll count 8. So we'll do 1, 2. Use the legs as much as the arm. 3, so you're pushing into the ground. 4, 5, breathing easy, 6, 7, 8. And rest there, then swap arms. You can come up to standing for a little bit to let the breath settle in the middle, in between rather than in the middle. This is also a really good practice for breathing into the back of the body. Now you don't necessarily have to breathe with the movement as long as your breathing is smooth and fluid and rhythmical. Again, if the weight gets heavier, then you will need to breathe with the movement. You'll need to breathe as you pull. So as you pull, you might breathe out. But the idea of this is if it's a light weight, as long as you're breathing rhythmically, it doesn't have to follow the rhythm of the movement. If it does follow the rhythm of the movement, that's not a problem. So with left hand, squat, really get grounded and stable, strong through that squat position. And then we're going to do 8 together again. So pull 1. You might get some crunches in the back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Using those big back muscles, breathing into the back. 8, and rest there. And then pop that weight safely down somewhere where you're not going to trip over it. Grab some water if you need a drink. And again, give your legs a little bit of a shake and your hands a little bit of a shake. And then we're going to find a wall if you've got a wall handy. So the opposite of a pull is a push. So we start off on the wall. Let me just make sure my door is locked. Yes, I don't fly out into the garden. So you can change wherever you stand against this wall. So the closer, the easier. The further away, the greater the lever, the greater the angle. So it's your decision where you place yourself. But again, the idea is that you're breathing easy, you're not having to hold the breath, you're not having to strain, you're just being able to do this quite smoothly and fluidly. Keep your feet together to start off with. Tall spine. Go with the hands about chest height and about just a little bit wider than shoulders. And all you're doing is lowering yourself. The heels can come off the floor. So you're just lowering or tilting yourself in towards the wall. Easy, easy, easy. So do 8 of these. And you're using the lowering and you're using that push away and then rest there. So we're working on technique, we're looking at your technique. All you're doing is getting your 3 centers of gravity lined up in your standing posture, and you're just moving those 3 centers of gravity forwards and backwards. I'm not changing the position of my head or my spine or anything. So that's why it's great to start off easy rhythmical breathing. If that is really easy, you can just challenge yourself by stepping away a little bit further from the wall. Obviously make sure you've got a very secure wall, that you're not on a door that someone can open from the other side and you go flying forwards. So let's do one more. The other thing to watch is make sure the shoulders don't come hunching up, but you keep those shoulders down and nice and strong. And then when you're ready, we'll do 8. So you're tilting a little bit further forwards. Elbows just come out to the side. Keep that head balanced on top of the spine and the spine long so we're not pushing the chin forwards. So with this you should be able to go really deep and still breathing easy. Gets the shoulders working, gets the shoulders moving, and then rest there. If that is really, really easy, then the next step is to go down to a lower platform. So it could be a kitchen work surface. So you just do exactly the same as you balance yourself. You get that spine in the neutral position and you just lower yourself down. But what I want to work on to start off with is the easy breathing. I don't want you in a plank position on the floor trying to do press-ups, holding the breath and the breath out of control. Once we get the strength through these really smooth, strong, fluid, efficient press-ups against the wall, and you start to gradually lower the platform, then you'll get to the floor and it'll be a lot easier. But obviously it's harder work on the floor because you've got gravity pushing down on you. Let's finish off with feet shoulder width apart. And we'll do our nice big Qigong style circles again, just to get these shoulders nice and mobile and relaxed after that little bit of a push and pull. So it's just a little bit of a reach up and then down. Softness in the knees. You're breathing in, opening up the ribs, and you're breathing out. And in, and out. And in, just visualize gathering all of that energy from around you and then just bringing that energy into your body, into your lower dantian, into your physical energy center. Breathing in, into the back. Breathing out. One more. In. And out. And then give the ankles a shake. Give the wrists a shake. And next week we will continue with this. We'll do a little bit more work with the pushing. If you can find a platform, a safe platform that is a little bit lower than a wall, if you've got a worktop or something like that, then that's fine. If not, don't worry, because we can work on the wall. There's other stuff we'll do on the wall and there's stuff we'll do on the floor. But during the week, just explore that push on a lower platform. So you could go on the edge of a sofa, you could go on the edge of a kitchen surface. But the idea is to keep the breathing easy. It's not about holding the breath. I can do a plank or I can do a press up. Keep the breathing easy. That's what's going to help to strengthen that upper body with the breathing in control. Brilliant. Thanks very much for joining. Hope you had a good session. I hope you're not sweating. I'll see you Tuesday if anybody's coming along to the breathing workshop, or same time next Thursday. And again, this will be on the training portal if you want to watch the replay. Thank you very much for watching. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.